Hi, Flosstube. Welcome back. I'm Erin, the Two Martini Stitcher, here on Flosstube and on Instagram, and I'm back for a catch up and not catch up like you eat, but a little catch up on what I have been working on and starting the last half of January. So today is Wednesday, February 5th. But I'm just going to be talking about the last half of January since I recorded back in mid-January. So this will be the last half of January. I'm making a lot of sense. It's been a doozy of a few weeks since I last saw you. I was watching Jen at Jen's Fiber Web, who you should all be watching. She's an absolute delight. I kind of wish we were neighbors. She doesn't really know me, but we're friends in my heart. Anyhow, she talked a little bit in her last update about, the state of the world is a little wild right now, and we're just going to take this time just to be together and have a little respite before in amongst all the chaos. So that's why we're here today. We're just going to spend a little cross-stitchy time together. I'm going to show you the things that I've been working on, the things that I plan to start, because if you are new here, I am turning 50 this year, and I took that as an excuse to celebrate all year and start 100 projects this year in celebration of my 50th birthday that will be coming up in March. Because why not? Okay, first let's start with not starts, but all the older previous WIPs that I've been working on in a regular rotation fashion. The first thing I wanted to show is my Fragments in Time 2018. This has been my daily 30, 25/7, whatever you want to call it. I stitch on this first thing. This is the first thing I stitch on each day for about half an hour, a strand, whatever. It doesn't get a ton of time, but it gets the first bit of my attention every day until I finish it. I have needles with hanging threads, and this is where it is. Now, I'll put up a picture up here of where it was before. I am in a different location today, and I know the background's a little distracting, but it's actually sunny in Seattle, and the light was coming in funny from the side in my dining room, so the light's pretty decent here. I'm going to take it. So anyhow, this is where I am up to with some daily work. I'm working on this block here. I think since you last saw it, I put in this middle border. I'm working the border along as I come to those colors, and I'm working on, I think this is pattern number 4 in the series over here, which is this one. So this is the one I'm working on. Making good progress. I still think that I'm going to finish this by the end of March, and then I will pick a new project to be my 25/7 daily 30 stitch for a finish. Yeah, it looks great. I feel like I can probably come back over here now and put 2025 in and feel pretty confident about that. So here it is. All rolled up a little bit over on that edge, but that's where I'm up to. It's looking really good. It won't be finished the next time you see it, but it'll be closer. Okay, the other older WIP that I work on in a regular way is And a Forest Grew. I jumped on Motif a Week, Julian Stitches. Thank you to whoever told me that Julian Stitches started Motif a Week. I jumped on when it came across my feed on Instagram because I thought it'd be a great way to get some progress on this piece that I've had hanging around since, I don't know, I think 2020. And so on Sundays, I put in a motif, and I will show you where it is now. I'm not really totally positive which motifs I've done since you've last seen it, Oh goodness, it's a whole lot of fabric because this is a big piece, but here it is. And I'll put up where I was. I think I did this little deer guy and then these down here. I think that's what I've done since you've seen it last. So I'm just working my way down the left-hand side. I think the next one I'm going to do this coming Sunday is this larger one down here that'll take me down to that corner. So that'll be exciting because then I'll have an idea of how of the actual size, and then I can maybe cut down my fabric a little bit. That'd be nice, huh? So there we go. That is and a for a screw for motif a week. I love all these little challenges, tricks, stitch alongs that help me pick away at these larger projects, because I'm not able to do these larger projects by just sitting down and stitching them all at once. But I can pick away at them a little bit. Okay, my last kind of continuing work in progress is my Long Dog Leap Day Sal, and this I work on kind of in between starts. So when I do one of my new starts, I will give it a couple days, 2-3 days, till wherever I feel like I get to a good stopping point or I'm just ready to rotate to something else. And then I'll work on this for a day or so. I'm trying to get this done. It was my Long Dog Leap Day Sal, so I started at Leap Day last year. I want to finish it by Leap Day 2028. It is behind because I didn't really work on it last year. Last year I was very focused on finishing a lot of things in preparation for starting a lot of things. But I think that this is now at like 8 or 9%. So to be on track, it would need to be at 25 by the end of February. That's not going to happen, but my goal is to have it kind of caught up by next February. So between now and next Leap Day or next year, end of February 2026, I want to get this to 50%. And I'm making really good progress. I'll put up where it was up here. And this also is a lot of fabric because it is a large piece. This is Pointed Fifth by Long Dog Samplers. Maybe I'll also stick up here what it's going to look like when it's done and where I'm at. Or where I was last time. Okay, here we go. I wrangled all the fabric. This is where I am now. So I've made some good progress since you've last seen it. This first page is all done, including the back stitching. I don't know if you can see, but in these areas here, there's a bunch of little bits of back stitch along those bands. And I am back stitching these vignettes, I guess we'll call them, as I do them. So now I'm just kind of working my way down. I'm working on this next arch here, and then I'll do this little vignette and then that one. I'm going to work my way all the way down to the bottom and then this direction. So here's where I am. I haven't been telling you about any of the fabric or anything. This is 36 count Tephra by Cedar River Linens. Gorgeous fabric. And I'm stitching this with Mrs. Seda Silk in River. That's this main green of the arches. And then a NPI in, I don't know what color, but I will put a link to my WIPS spreadsheet that also has, it's a whole workbook, and there's a tab that has my 100 starts and then a tab that has all my WIPS with all the information on it in case you want to see what I'm stitching this on. God, I love this project. It's gorgeous and it's so fun to stitch. I'm I never tire. I never tire stitching on that. I mean, I guess I would if I stitched on it nonstop, but in between all the other starts is like perfect. It's the perfect little palette cleanser in between starts. So speaking of starts, you want to see all the things I started and finished? I even had a finish. Since I saw you last, when I last saw you, I was headed out of town. I was headed to Florida to go to the UDA Collegiate Dance Team Nationals. I took a couple projects with me. I wasn't sure that I was going to get much stitching done, but I actually, one, it's a long flight from Seattle to Florida to Orlando, and I actually did have one afternoon of downtime there. So the first thing I started was, I can't remember the name of this chart. I don't have it with me because I finished it, but it's a with eye needle and thread, and I call it just fudge it. But here it is. Look how cute. This came out so good. I stitched this on a 32 count opalescent white, so you can kind of, I don't know if you can see, it's shimmery. It's sunny, but the light is kind of flat. And then I stitched the frog was done in Cottage Garden thread Quirky Quaker Frog. So it's the thread that is for Darling OMC Designs Quirky and Quaker Frog. And it's pretty variegated. And so like both like this color and this color are all on the same thread. So it was really easy to just, you know, stitch where the color was. This is a little guy. He was easy to stitch. And then the words are Anchor Black. And then I used a silver petite treasure braid for the crown and the needle. Now, as charted, there's like, you're supposed to put like a thread in the needle and let it like hang, but I don't think I want it. And also, the needle as charted is over 1. I didn't want to stitch petite treasure braid over 1, and so I didn't. And there's plenty of space to do the needle over 2. So those are the little changes I made, and he's so cute. Now I just need to get him like framed. A little black frame maybe. Maybe just a plain little simple black frame. I need to measure him, see if I can order something, or I don't know. Hopefully this doesn't need to be a custom size. All right, so that was a start and a finish. I started it on the plane to Florida, and that was all I worked on it. I didn't work on it while I was there, and then I finished it on the way back. So this was a super, super quick stitch. So cute. I love it. Okay. And then while I was in Florida, I had an afternoon with a couple hours to myself randomly. And so I started this little chart, Heart and Hand, Everyday Things. I had this as a kit. I don't know where I got it. I feel like I may have picked this kit up off of a freebie table. I don't know, because it came with everything. Like the trim, the floss, a little floss card. So this was definitely a kit, but I don't know where from. Like it comes with a button, a little button. Maybe I bought the kit. I might have. But for some reason, I remember picking this up off a freebie table. Does that matter at all? No, it does not. Here's my start. This is going to be a sweet little stitch. So this is my start. I don't think that this would take more than 3 or 4 more days to finish, but it's not going to be this year because I got more things to start. So, but pretty sweet little stitch. I don't know what it's 32 count flax linen. 32 count flax, 2/2. So that is Everyday Things. And then my last start after I got back, my last start for January, I should say, not the last start. I got a lot more. This is 8. This is start number 8 is Who Let the Frogs Out by Heartstring Samplery. I've done Whip It Good. There's a few more in this, or at least a couple more in this series. But I love this Who Let the Frogs Out. And I am stitching this on an 18 count Aida in Boreal by Cedar River Linen with Sulky White. I don't know which white. I think it's bright white. 100. There you go. That's the Sulky that I'm using. I think it's bright white, which is what I used for Whip It Good. So here is my start. And Sulky on 18 count is fantastic. I don't know why it looks brown on this side and green on this side in the camera. Oh, and then it switched. It's green. It's more this color, green. Cedar River Linen. So it's not like bright frog color. It's more toad color, but I like it. I'm good with it. So there's my little start. I had to at least get one frog in. I had to at least get one frog in. So Who Let the Frogs Out by Heartstring Samplery. I love this whole series. So that's all the starts. So that's everything I stitched on in the past like 2.5 weeks. I thought I would also show you the things that I'm planning to start in the first half of February. So if you have these things in your stash and want to start them with me, pop me a note and let me know. Oh, I did already start, because today is the 5th of February. I did already start Turkey Love by Plum Street Samplers, but it's over at my Stitchy Spot, and I'll show it in my next video since it's a February start anyway. So I did start Turkey Love by Plum Street Samplers, and here are the next like 4 things that I'm going to be starting. And you let me know if you want to start them with me. The first, and if there's a specific day, because I'm kind of flexible on these plans. So let me know if there's any of these that you want to start. Royal Games 1. Mirabilia. Yay! This will be my second Mirabilia since I finished Touching the Autumn Sky last year. I'm very excited to start this one. I have Royal Games 2 as well. I have, when I bought these at Threadneedle Street, which is actually my most local LNS. I also consider Acorns and Threads my local LNS, even though they're like 3 hours away. But when I bought these, Denise told me that some people stitch them, turn it into 4. So they'll stitch this queen both directions, so that they have a Queen of Hearts, and then a Queen of Spades. So they like mirror it and duplicate it. That is such a cool idea. No, I'm not doing that. But some of you might want to do that. I know I've thought of that. And then instead of having 2 cards with the 4 queens, you can have 4 cards. I'm not doing that. I'm going to stitch them as charted. And I have this is all of the TMC, and I am stitching it on 32 count white, which I think is what it calls for. Oh, it calls for optical white linen. I think I'm just using white, Zweigart white. Maybe Witchell calls it optical white. I'm just using white linen. And I even have all the beads and the cry neck. I got all the things. Even though I'm not going to need all the things for quite a while. But I'm excited to start that. I'm really excited to start that. I think I'm going to start top, middle, and work my way down. I probably should start center, but I don't. I like to work top down. So I don't really want to center start, work my way up. So I think I'll just measure my fabric and pray I measure right. Okay, so that's my next start, or one of my next starts. And then that's a biggie. So then we're going to move on to another little small one. And I am going to do Chubby Bird. Look how cute, by Jeanette Douglas. I did buy this as a kit from Acorns. So it came with the threads. You can see I put them on thread drops. Isn't that funny? But it came with the threads and the finishing trim. And it didn't come with fabric. It calls for a 40 count. So I'm going to use that. I had this light mocha in my set. Like, I'm not going to need all of this, but I wanted to do it on the called for count because I think I do want to finish it in this little tin. Or I also have like a little pedestal type thing that I think is about the same size. We'll see. We will see. I think I have several in this series. I know I have Chubby Fox. I probably have Chubby Bunny. Those are just patterns, so I'm going to start with Chubby Bird. Okay. And then I think this is when I'm going to start around Valentine's Day. This was part of the Hearts for Pam from Cottage Garden Threads. I ordered that whole package and it came with like the threads and then a whole bunch of charts. That all use that same thread palette. I'm going to start with, of course, ink circles with this Hearts Entwined. This is not that big. It's 65 by 65. But I love that. Can you tell I went for a heart love theme here in February? And I'm going to put it on this scrap of unnamed color and cotton. I'm pretty sure this came in a color and cotton grab bag. But it's kind of got this like taupey greenish blush. I thought that like really. What does this call for? Sanguine. 30 count sanguine by WIPS. But how perfect is that? That's coming in just right there. So, I don't know what count that is. Looks like a 36. We'll see. I'll probably do one strand. And yep, so that's going to be another start. And then the last one I'm going to show you, we'll see if I get to all these before I come back. I may not. This is another biggie. Every opening flower. I love this. It's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. And it's big. This is a big one. Okay. And I'm going to be stitching this on, I think this is an R&R. Liberty Gathering Gray. It doesn't say. Where did I get this? Stitcher's Paradise. I must have bought this when I was there in Vegas a few years ago. So, but I thought this would just be a lovely background to the color palette. Isn't that just, oh God, isn't this going to be so pretty? It's going to be so pretty. It's going to be so pretty. And I think this is mostly called for. I subbed out, I pulled what I had called for from Stash, and it looks like I subbed out Weeks Oscar for Gentle Arts Moss, and I subbed out DMC 612 for Fibrelicious Sepia. I don't know why, but gosh, that's going to be pretty, isn't it? And then I have other notes here. I think maybe I thought I didn't have enough of one color, so I have a couple options, and I told myself to use one for the letters and one for the house and face. I clearly put a lot of thought into this when I did it. Isn't that going to be pretty though? Okay, so every opening flower. So if you have any of those in your stash and you want to start them along with me, DM me on Instagram or pop it in the comments and we can coordinate starting any of those together in the next couple weeks. So thank you all for stopping by and visiting with me. It has been, I am really grateful right now that I spent all this time last year planning all these starts and putting them together, because it has been a really, I've been spinning a little bit in my head, and to have this all planned out and ready to go for me has been a true blessing right now. So I hope that your stitching is a comfort and a blessing to you, and I will see you next time. Bye.